60% of restaurants fail every year in the world. I know, right? Crazy statistics, but yet restaurants are popping up everywhere, even in Nigeria. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Atimoko of Afrolems, and today I'll be taking you through a few things you need to consider before opening a restaurant here in Nigeria or maybe anywhere else that it might be applicable to you. But before we go ahead, please like, share, comment, subscribe, especially share with people that are starting restaurants, your friends and family, or that are thinking about it. It might be a small scale one or a fancy big restaurant that they're thinking of starting, but please make sure to share this video with them. And yes, let's get started. The first thing to consider when opening your restaurant is you need to set your expectations. You need to be very, very realistic. Your restaurant business is not the one that is going to make you blow. If you don't, for those that don't understand the lingo, blowing in Nigerian lingo means being rich. The restaurant business is not one to make you rich. You will get money from it, let me not scare you. But it's not the one that is going to be like, you know, billionaire list rich. Maybe it's possible. Maybe you're the one that's going to change the game for that. But there's a lot that needs to go into it, and I think you need to be very realistic with your expectations. Scale is how you achieve growth in restaurants and in revenue and in profits as well. So if you have no plans to scale, if you want to open a small mom and pop shop type thing, you might need to reconsider. But be realistic with the expectations you set. You will be comfortable, your lifestyle will change, but be realistic when opening one. The second thing you need to consider is analysis. Analyze like crazy. Analyze the chef you're going to hire, the location you're going to be using, the concept of the restaurant that you're creating. What's the concept, right? So let's take the chef, for example. Does your chef have even temperament? Does your chef understand the finances of a restaurant business? Does your chef know how to do menu development, or are you going to use consultants only? Does your chef have charisma? Is your chef popular? Are they going to be the ones driving the restaurant business that you're trying to push? Or are you going to have the chef a bit more back end and just let the restaurant name speak for itself? But those analyses and those questions you need to be asking yourself. If you think about location, where are you going to use? If I take Lagos, for example, Lagos is a bit of a weird phenomenon when it comes to locations. But locations still matter. There's some places that, regardless of where they are, because of all the other things that work for the restaurant in terms of the concept, in terms of the chef, in terms of what they're promising, what their value proposition is, those things drive sales. But location is still important. People aren't going to get into their cars on a very busy day where traffic is crazy to come to your spot if it's not accessible. So please make sure you pay attention to location as well. What's the concept of your restaurant? Are you going to do dinner service from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. until midnight? Or are you going to be open all day? Are you a breakfast place that's open from like 6 a.m. till 2 p.m. because of brunch? Or what kind of restaurant are you creating? Are you a social house? What is it? You know, so you kind of need to decide what your concept is and let that feed into your bigger picture of planning for your restaurant. Cash rules everything around me. Okay, no, it doesn't rule everything around me. In Jesus' name. Okay. All right. So cash. Where are you getting your cash from? Do you have investors? Do you have a group of people that are going to be plugging money into your business? Is it friends and family, or is it actual investors? Where are you going to get cash from? And even in deciding before you start where you're going to get cash from, even when the business is running, how are you reserving cash for emergencies? Now, we all know about the coronavirus and we could see what it's done to the restaurant business. The restaurants that will survive are the ones that have cash in reserve for emergencies like this. So how are you managing your cash? Do you have a very savvy accountant that is going to help you when you're deciding how to manage and spend your cash, and not to even overspend when setting up or even when running your restaurant as well? How do you decide what is essential versus a nice to have? So you set up your restaurant and you're buying, and then you have to halt a little bit and say, okay, what is essential and what is a nice to have? And the more we grow, we now start to, spend a little bit more just to make things nicer. So maybe you could only afford white plates. That's the cash on hand that you have to buy only white plates. And maybe you really want colored plates, going into the future and as you evolve. Maybe you need to decide what is an essential, or maybe your colored plates are essential. But what is an essential and what is a nice to have? If you're thinking back end and keeping food warm, are you microwaving or are you using like a moisture food warmer type thing? So you always need to decide what is an essential and what is a nice to have when thinking about starting your restaurant. Back to location, accessibility. Accessibility is not a big thing here in Nigeria. A lot of buildings aren't. But the time is coming, and I feel like I need to say this now, but the time is coming when accessibility is going to be a criteria for people visiting your restaurant. When I say accessibility, what do I mean? Can disabled people dine at your restaurant? Right? So if a blind person is coming into your restaurant, would they be able to, are your staff trained enough to guide them through the process? Is your menu accessible? Do you have a braille version of your menu? Yes, you might say, but majority of the people that come to dine at my restaurant now, they're not really, it's just people that don't have any disabilities. Well, a time is coming. Like I said, people don't plan for disabilities, it happens. And so you have to ask yourself, is my restaurant designed to be accessible to anybody that has any disability and they want to come in and still experience what I have to offer? You need to think about that. This is one that a lot of people do not like to think about, but another thing you need to be considering is administrative work. Yes, if you're not a planner, if you're not the most organized person, this could be daunting. I promise you it's daunting. All the admin process work that needs to go into setting up your restaurant business, trust me, I know. So admin, who's going to be doing your admin? When you're setting up, most times people don't always have enough money to hire everybody. So sometimes you're the chef, you're the operations person, you're the admin person, you're everything. And the point is, you kind of need to make sure that from end to end, all your administrative things are covered in terms of processes as well. So if you think about doing your walkthroughs in the morning, before you open, how are you doing your walkthroughs and ensuring that things are in the way that you want it to be? Checklists, right? Checklists are the easiest things to, make sure that even if you're not there, someone else is doing it in the same way that you would want it done. So for example, if you want candles, scented candles lit all through the restaurant, if you're not there, would your workers know to light the candles? They'll probably think, this one, you're wasting the candle now, it's smelling nice, this place is fine, there's no need. But you understand the importance of scented candles around your restaurant because you're trying to create an ambience that when your guests walk in, regardless of time of the day, they have the same experience. But to your workers, it may not be a thing. Develop a checklist. All the things that you need checked: the bathrooms, the kitchen stock, the cleaning, picking up after places, turning on the ACs in the place, all the things you need to get done. Create a checklist for it so that your workers would be able to do it even in your absence. Who's doing research? There are a lot of restaurants that are doing amazing things here in Nigeria and all over the world. And the point is, you kind of need to stay up to date with what other people are doing, not necessarily because you're going to change anything drastic in your own space, but at least you're optimizing based off of the trends. So there's something called cloud kitchen, and cloud kitchens have existed even before the coronavirus time. But for the people that understood the importance of cloud kitchens, they know how to function. I saw a picture recently where Starbucks took off all the chairs from their space so that once you come in, you order, you get out and go home, right? So the point is, you need to stay up to date with trends. Even in management, in hospitality management, you need to stay up to date with what people are doing, what's working. Because if you don't, and your competitors are, what will happen is they start to sip in to your competitor's space and you start to lose all your workers and you're wondering, what did I do? Another thing you need to consider, and I have to say it like this, is your menu. There is a science behind menu design. I hate when I walk into a place and I'm seeing Ugo si Ugo, jam book to be reading. That's not why I'm here, bruv. Okay, I don't know where the accent came from, but that's not why I'm here. I want to get through your menu as quick as possible. Make a decision, maybe not as quick as possible, but quick enough, right? Make a decision that's quality, not because I'm frustrated. So most times you go into a restaurant, they first of all give you a booklet. So you're flipping. And the point is, understanding the consumer, you will only get to chicken, prawns, beef, maybe vegetarian, vegan, right? So those are the big things. And then they'll just pick a dish because, okay, they're frustrated. And half the time, restaurants that have like 200 things on the menu have people picking the exact same thing. Maybe that's their design. I don't know. But the point is, there's no need having all of those things only for your customers to come in, and even you have the weird customer like me when I go to restaurants, come in and say, oh, I want number 5. And you say, ah, ma, the Australian steak is not available. So why is the number 5 on your menu? So those are things that you need to consider. You need to consider menu design. Make it as simple as possible. Don't stress your customers, please. And describe the dishes in such a way that is foolproof. Right? If somebody has allergies, you want to state what is in the menu as well. Some people are allergic to prawns, some people are allergic to nuts, some people, like me recently, are allergic to goat meat. Jesus. Anyway, so you want to make sure that your menu is optimized for your customers when they come in. The most important asset you could have. And make it pretty too.